We're with Coach Gundy as the Cowboys get ready to face the Utah Utes in the Big 12 Conference opener. You know, you're one of only 8 teams in the country that's not allowed a sack. So how would you assess your offensive line play these first few games?
We were better at run blocking in the last game. Prior to that, we had been below average, in my opinion. But when I went back and looked, when we had equal numbers, meaning if we had 5 blockers and they had what I would call 5.5 defenders, half of an extra guy. And what I mean by that is a guy that plays half pass, half run. Mm-hmm. And then when we had 6 blockers and they had 6.5, we were pretty effective in the first 3 games. The issue is we're seeing very few plays where our numbers are equal or only a half man short. We got 6 blockers, they got 7 or 8 people. We haven't been very good then, which is understandable. That's why we need to be better with in-game adjustments. From a protection standpoint, we've been really good. In this next game, it's going to give us a good idea where we're at because we're playing 2 down guys inside that are very big and thick and can push, and we're playing long, athletic defensive ends. So I'll have a real good feel in the next show for where we're at, but protection-wise, they've been pretty good.
Yeah. Knowing that teams have loaded the box, obviously, to try to stop Ollie Gordon, is there anything he can do better as we progress to maybe help his situation under what have been the first 3 games some tough circumstances?
Ollie needs to run downhill and run hard. Sometimes when you're in the position he's in, if they have extra players in there and there's not a clean lane for a running back to push through, you get flat-footed where you stop. And running backs that stop and try to restart aren't very good. Barry Sanders could do it, but most guys struggle with that type. So our message to him is to been run, get downhill, slash through those areas, and let us take care of the rest of it.
You know, it's interesting. This is about the time of year, historically, where your team takes off. And it's been pretty consistent, especially in recent years. You get to about the end of September and things really start going well. Any reason for that? Because that's been, your teams always get better, but there always seems to be a pretty big jump about this time.
The coaches and players understand, and I include myself in that, if we don't get a little better each day, and if we don't see improvement in areas that we've been deficient, then we have a couple of issues. One means we're not doing a good job of coaching. Or 2, our players aren't absorbing information. That is not good for college football. Not good for any team, in my opinion. I think that we pay close attention to improvement and in what areas need improvement, and we have a plan to how to get that accomplished. So it was like Mr. Pickens always used to say, an idiot with a plan is going to accomplish way more than a genius that doesn't have a plan. So I feel like that we try to lay out a plan of what do we need to improve to make our team better each week. And there's never any guarantee, but particularly today with young people with so many distractions, we have to make it very clear to what we're trying to get accomplished each day.
You look at your opponent this weekend, Utah, and their recent history, their losses have pretty much all come to ranked teams, good teams, what you would expect for a team that's had their success. Any common themes across those teams that have beaten them, things the teams that have beaten them have done that have been consistent to have success against them?
Their coaching staff, obviously Coach Whittingham's been there for 20 years. They have a good vision of what they're trying to get accomplished, in my opinion, just from an outsider looking in. They want to have a physical running game. They want to be play action pass, throw the ball over the top, and use quick game to avoid sacks. Defensively, they're going to play with an extra guy in the box to stop the run, and they're going to rally to the pass through a zone, middle safety closed, and man on the outside. They don't do a lot different in special teams, and they play hard. And that's why they're in the position they are now. And that's why they've had so much success, because, in my opinion, they've minimized areas where they could potentially make mistakes because they don't get out of their box much.
Yeah. Anything especially unique about them offensively? You mentioned the power run game. Seem to use a lot of tight ends and use those guys in different ways?
2 tight ends, tight end and a wing, trying to create extra gaps. And in that personnel, what they do, they force defenses to play a linebacker type body over a tight end and wing. And it's not rocket science. They are going to feel like they're creating a mismatch with a 235 to 255 pound tight end blocking a 220 pound linebacker. Kind of the laws of physics is where they feel like they're getting an advantage, in my opinion.
So the Cowboys rolled to victory over Tulsa. Next week, we'll have highlights of the Cowboys' win over Utah. We'll see you then.